The first thing we do when we're born is to breathe. The first action we make is to inhale and let air drop into us. The last thing we do before we die is to exhale. We let go one final time. We breathe approximately 16 times per minute, which is about 960 times in an hour, which then makes 23,000 times in a day, which would then be 8.5 million times a year. And if we live to the grand old age of 80, which is actually the global approximation of lifespans for humans in 2019, we will have circulated roughly 7 billion breaths in our lifetime. Breath is fundamental to life. We can live without food for around 3 weeks. We can go without water for around 3 days, but we can't survive more than 3 minutes without the vital nutrients, oxygen and nitrogen, that are in the air. Breath is fundamental to life, but it's also fundamental to the quality of life we lead, in many ways. But what interests me most about breath is that it's fundamental to the voice. Breath feeds an impulse to thought. And that thought drives our need to communicate. We then use the same air on its way out to vibrate our vocal folds, resonate within us, formulate sound and articulate words into vibrations, so the air that we initially breathe in, it gets used to communicate words and to essentially get us to speak our ideas, speak our story, to tell the world who we really are. Now, what I find fascinating about this is that it's often said that words only really hold 7% of the story that we tell, and that most of it is physical communication and the tone we use. That said, words are still very powerful, because every time we speak, we are literally casting a spell. We send vibrations and intentions out into the world, and they can have a real dynamic difference on the changing course of time. The word spell comes from spelling, and spelling, the word comes from the act of writing down the phonetic sounds of someone speaking. So someone heard the sounds of someone speaking and wrote it down phonetically, transcribed it onto paper, and that was spelling. And so spell comes from speaking. It's not necessarily about casting magic, but in a way it is. Einstein said that everything is made of vibrations. So every time we send out certain vibrations, we have an impact. Vibrations of the words we speak can be used for good and actually heal, but they can also be negative and used to destroy. What I'm saying is, watch what you say. Keep the vibrations good, keep them positive, because that will help this planet, which needs as much as it can. Speak your truth, and the world will open up to you. Stay positive and say things to help others rather than to hurt. And you're passing on goodness. You're making a spell. You're casting a spell for good rather than cursing for evil. If we acknowledge that it might only be 7 to 10% vocabulary that tells our story and that makes up our entire voice, that is then 7 to 10% of something worth considering. Your voice is more than your ability to make a sound. It's the intention behind those sounds and the freedom for your body to be able to use those sounds correctly and in a way that suits you and serves the rest of the world. What makes a good singer? Their ability to be open and allow sound to flow freely, and the intentions and the emotions that they can put behind those words and those sounds that better affect the listener. It's not about you, it's about what you can offer. So consider that next time you go out, create a speech or pitch a presentation or sing a song. How are you affecting the listener, the audience? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to give? If you consider this, then you can really make a change, really make a difference. And you'll also notice that you'll no longer be so self-conscious because you're focusing outwards. And this will help you become a better speaker and a better singer. I'm Darren McStay, this is Improve Your Voice, and until the next time, look after your voice.